Okay, now today we're going to do a little bit of reading, and before you read, I want to find out what you might already know about some of the ideas in the text that you're going to read. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. Who was Margaret Mead?
I think a person. That's all.
Okay, that's fine. All right. How do we learn about different people?
Um, Maybe if they're in books, you read them, or maybe they can tell you about them if they speak the same language as you.
Okay. What are primitive people?
People that are primitive.
Okay. What are problems learning our new language? What do you think are problems learning a new language?
You have to practice a lot to be able to understand and be able to speak that language.
All right. You now get to show me how you can read on your own. I want you to read this passage. I need you to remember all the things you do as you read. I'm going to write some notes and record this. I can't give you any hints or any help. If you come to a word you don't know, just do your best and keep on going. When you are done reading, I'll ask you to retell what you read, and then I will ask you some questions. Okay? Okay, whenever you're ready.
Margaret Mead had always been interested in the way of life people from other lands. When Mead went to college, she took a class in anthropology. This is the study of how different people live. Mead decided to make this her career. She wanted to study primitive people before modern ways of living destroyed their culture. Mead realized that living with the people is the only effective way to learn about them. She chose a village in Samona to investigate. Several islands make up Samona, which is the Pacific Ocean. Mead worked hard to prepare for Samona. She studied languages like the Samoan language. She read everything she could about the Simonian people. She read about their food and how they built their homes. She read about their ceremonies, their past history, and their taboos. But she wanted to learn much more. Finally, Mead arrived in Samona. At first, life was difficult for her. She was alone. She was not fluent in the Simonian language. She lived in a house with no walls, no electricity or gas. It had no running water and no bathrooms. One day she said to herself, "I can't go on," said in Simonian. Then she thought that maybe she could continue after all. Mead became fluent in the Simonian language, and the other people soon regarded her as one of the village. She listened to their talk, their jokes, and their gossip. They told her their problems. Mead felt that being a woman assisted her in learning more about the lives of these people. Instead of having to go on hunts with the men, Mead stayed with the women. She observed the children play and learned how food was prepared. She made efforts to get the older people to recount tales of the past. Med learned many things from the Simonian people. She always took notes and kept careful records. These notes were used to write her first book, which was called Coming of Age in Simona. It made her famous. Med spent the rest of her life studying and writing about primitive ways of life that no longer exist today.
Okay. Okay, now remember, this is the part where I want you to tell me as much as you can about what you remember of the story.
The story is about a person that travels to Simona and tries learning her language.
Can you tell me some more about that?
When she got there, it was pretty difficult to learn the people's language and tell what they were saying. Is that kind of what I said before?
That's right. Anything else you can remember about the story?
The story is about, well, when she got to Simona, she started, instead of going hunting, she hung out with the women and stuff to learn how the food was made and how the children lived.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you some questions. First, I'm going to ask you some questions and answer the best you can. And then if we have to, we'll look back. Okay? What was Margaret Mead's main goal?
To learn their language.
What did Margaret Mead choose to investigate? Okay. Name one thing Margaret Mead read about to prepare her for Samoa.
She read about their language.
Okay.
And studied about I don't know.
That's okay. Give one reason why life in Samoa was difficult at first.
She was alone. She also thought it was hard to speak that language.
What made Margaret Mead decide she would be able to stay in Samoa? Okay. Why was Margaret Mead able to learn a lot about the family life of Samoans?
She started to hang out with other people and see how they did stuff and.
Okay. Why did Margaret Mead want to hear stories about Samoans' past?
To see maybe what happened, if anything exciting happened.
And what did Margaret Mead do with the notes and records she kept?
She um,
Do you remember? What did she do with the notes she kept?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, let's look at the paper and let's see if we could answer some of these questions. What was Margaret Mead's main goal?
Was to investigate the village. To investigate.
Okay, another question was, what made Margaret Mead decide she would be able to stay in Samoa?
She started speaking. She started speaking that language, so she thought it wouldn't be that hard.
How about, what did Margaret Mead do with the notes and records she kept?
She used them to make a book.
And one more, let's see. Why did... It was 8, you had that one, yep.
Oh.
You did that one, you did a good job. What was... Did I ask you, let's see. Why did Margaret Mead want to hear the stories of the Samoans' past?
To see, to study and write about stuff that didn't exist anymore.
All right. Thank you very much.